Welcome to this BVTV Global Network Duology, coming to you from the UK studios of BizVision. I'm your host, Malcolm Gallagher. This is episode 2 in the duology with author and publisher, Mark Leslie Lefebvre. Hello again, Mark.
Good to see you again, Malcolm.
Yeah, and is it still Thanksgiving there, isn't it?
It is. Oh my God, it still is Thanksgiving. It's a long Thanksgiving.
Yes, I know. I just got to remind everybody that you live in perpetual Halloween, with all those skulls behind you.
Mark, always Halloween too.
Yes, Mark, I'm an admirer of authors. I really am. I mean, after all, I've interviewed hundreds each year. But hopefully, as you possibly sense, I dislike those authors being misled by poor advice. So I want you to kindly guide aspiring authors in the correct way, in your mind, to research, create, and write a business book that is likely to achieve some success. What's a good framework for such a journey to success?
I think regardless of what you're doing as a writer, three main principles, which kind of led to the publishing pitfalls for authors, are patience, practice, and persistence. You've got to keep at it. You've got to write as much as possible, keep getting better at it, keep practicing your writing, and you've got to be patient. So it takes a long time. It takes a long time to write a book properly. It takes a long time to edit a book properly. It takes a long time to publish a book properly. And even after it's published, it can take a significant amount of time. So if you're hoping for a quick solution or something that's really quick, go do something else. You may be set up for disappointment. But in my experience, it is a really long-term journey. And if you can apply those 3 principles, maybe with a sprinkling of professionalism in there, that'll probably set you off on the right path.
Yeah, but surely a lot of authors are going to find this hard because they have to go and ask somebody, don't they, to give them feedback. Yeah. And getting good feedback must surely be an important part of it all.
Yeah, that is one of the challenges. So one of the challenges when you're a writer is oftentimes first showing it to someone else can be a really terrifying experience. I remember a writer friend I was interviewing years ago when she used to do biology textbooks. So she was behind the scenes and no one really knew her name. And she wrote her first science fiction novel. She said it was like standing naked on the front lawn. Like I'm on display for everyone to see. And that is so true because it feels like that. Yeah. But one of there's a saying called "kill your darlings," which is a phrase that writers use, and it's not meant for anything other than you're really passionate about, you've written something well, and then you find that there's something in your writing that you really liked, but maybe it's the editor says it doesn't work because it's not going to resonate with the reader, or it diverts from the point, it diverts from the trajectory of the story arc that you're telling. Even in a nonfiction book, there is a story arc that you're telling, and you have to kill your darlings. You have to be willing to take the criticism. You have to be willing to learn from that. And it's not easy. It's not easy to do that, but you have to listen to what someone's willing to tell you to help make your writing better and to continue to refine it. Those are some of the things that are going to help you in the long term, because the other thing that's going to happen, I have a 1-star, at least, 1-star review for every single one of my books out there. All that means to me is it went into the hands of the wrong person. They weren't my ideal reader. Something happened, the wrong person picked it up. It's not for them. And that's something that it's kind of hard to take that criticism, but you've got to develop a thick skin over time too.
Yeah. Well, we have in everything these days, haven't we? Because of social media and all that's around there. But if I just go back to just something you were just saying there about that constructive criticism and the killing the darlings, one of my little, I don't think I want to call it a trick, but one of the questions I consistently ask people is who's the book for and what should they get from it? And I often find that I don't get a really sensible answer about that. Yeah. Because somebody's got a passion about the subject that they're writing about rather than the outcome that the reader wants.
Yeah, and that's a really difficult one because you have people, well, who's going to love your book? Everyone's going to love my book. No, we have to take it down to something else. The other thing we talk about, because I've worked in the book industry for 30 years, is comp titles or comp authors. Say, well, there's nothing like it. Yeah, I understand your book is unique and it's the most precious little thing in the universe, but we have to think about this within the context of the reality. Booksellers are going to want to put this on the shelves. They're going to want to figure out where to put it on the shelves. And they're going to want to have to say, if you've read this kind of thing or you like this kind of thing, then you'll like this kind of thing. And I often tell authors to create a Venn diagram. So for example, when I did Haunted Hamilton, True Ghost Stories of Hamilton, and I pitched that to a publisher, I had a Venn diagram that said, people who love ghost stories right here. And there's people who love a Canadian history, because you can't tell a good ghost story without getting into the War of 1812 and all the history around there, and people who love the city of Hamilton. And right dead center in there, this really small group of people, that's the target audience. Those other people may like it, but that's who I'm writing it for.
Very good advice.
You've got to narrow it down in that fashion. And the less you narrow it down, ironically, Stephen King, one of the world's best-selling writers ever, writes his books for one person, Tabitha King. Will Tabitha like it? Fortunately, a lot, billions of people have the same taste as Tabitha, but he's not thinking of anyone else but other than, will Tabitha be proud of me when I write this book?
That's an excellent. I love that. I love that Venn diagram. Well, it's really exciting way of actually showing quite clearly. Maybe I might just adopt that one. By the way,
please do. I hope so. If it can help writers, it's a great tool.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, thanks, Mark. Now let me remind our audience of your URL, your website address, which is obviously, viewers, you can see on the screen behind me. But for listeners, let me tell you, it's all the W's. Mark, M-A-R-K, Leslie, L-E-S-L-I-E, markleslie.ca. Now, Mark's book is called Publishing Pitfalls for Authors, and it's published by Stark Publishing. I know the saying that there's a book in every one of us, and I know that every author wants their book to be a success. I love helping them through a BVTV interview, but it's a tough, competitive world out there. Aspiring authors need to have a framework for a success. And as author Mark Leslie Lefebvre says in his book, avoid those pitfalls. Avoid those pitfalls. Thanks, Mark, and for a truly inspiring duology.
Thank you so much, Malcolm.